I am John Davis Marshall, your lifestyle architect. If my coaching, excuse me, can benefit your professional life, or my counseling can benefit your personal life, then extend your experience with me by way of my website, www.johndavismarshall.com. And while you're there, browse my website. Bless yourself with one of the books that I've written and published, and subscribe to Matters Monthly Magazine. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Encourage all of your friends to do so. When you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you are automatically notified whenever we upload a video to this channel. That way you do not miss any of the information that we make available. And then comment on this video. Tell us what you think. Give us your comments. Share the video and like this video. That helps us to get greater visibility in the world, in the market of, uh, of sharing information through the YouTube. Now, remember, every Thursday we explore finance matters. Get your cup of cold coffee, pull up a chair, bring the Word of God with you, and let's investigate God's wisdom. Wisdom really should lead us to wealth. Our wisdom should lead us, bring us out of poverty, and put us in a wealthy position. We've been talking about how to generate wealth. And today we want to talk about generating wealth by selling your accumulated property. We've already talked about selling your industrial property. That's the work of your hands. Your intellectual property. That's the work of your mind. And now today we want to talk about selling your accumulated property. Have you realized that all through the Bible, people sold their accumulated property? It met God's approval. God applauded them for selling their accumulated property. Well, if God approves of them selling their accumulated property, he must then also have approved of them accumulating the property. Let's notice a very notable case wherein the people of God in the church sold their accumulated property. Acts chapter 4 and verse number 34. For there was not a needy person among them, for all who were owners of land or houses would sell them and bring the proceeds of the sales and lay them at the apostles' feet, and they would distribute to each as any had need. Now, notice verse 37. And who owned a tract of land sold it and brought the money and laid it at the apostles' feet. So sell your accumulated property. Every person should accumulate some property. If you sell your industrial property, that is the work of your hands, and buy some real estate property, and the value of it increases, when you sell it, you make a profit. So get in the habit of selling, but before you can sell, you must take ownership. So sell your accumulated property over and over again. There are stories all through the Bible where people sold their accumulated property. In John chapter 4, you remember the story. Jesus engaged in a conversation at the well with the Samaritan woman. Where were the disciples? Where were they while Jesus was talking to the woman at the well? They had gone into the city to buy food. Well, how could they buy food? Food is property. Obviously, the food was accumulated property by those who sold the food to them. Had no one accumulated food, they would have never been able to sell food to the disciples. They would have been hungry. As a matter of fact, on another occasion, the disciples had followed and other people had followed Jesus, and he had taught them for a while, and they were now hungry. And Jesus said to them, where are we going to buy food? So Jesus approved of people buying and selling property. Don't ever let anyone tell you that it's sinful to accumulate property for the purpose of selling it. And when you sell it, it is okay to make a profit. When you read the book of James, James say that we can sell our industrial property. And he talked about that in James chapter 4 and verse number 13. As a matter of fact, he said that you ought to say, if it is God's will, we will go to such a city and engage in business and make a profit. Now, I'm well aware that there are those who might make what we would call an exorbitant profit. They may raise the price unbelievably. Well, I say in those cases, go buy your property from someone else. If the price is too high, seek to find the property elsewhere. But God approves of buying and selling accumulated property. In Matthew chapter 13, Jesus teaches and he uses the buying and selling of property to illustrate the kingdom of heaven. Listen to what he said in Matthew 13 and verse 44. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in the field, which a man found and hid it again. And from joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. And buys that field. And then he told another parable beginning in verse 45 about the pearl of great price. So sell your accumulated property. Think about the things that you have bought recently, whether you bought groceries at Kroger, or whether you bought clothing at Walmart, or whether you purchased something in the mall. Whomever or whatever the store was from where you bought that merchandise, they raised the price and made a profit. Well, if Walmart can raise the price and make a profit and make the Walton family billionaires, then why can't you buy merchandise, raise the property, and make wealth for you? Now, I'm not going to tell you what percentage of profit you should make. The only word of caution that I'm going to give you is this, that if you make a profit, the profit is within the range of where God would approve, then he will bless your efforts. But if your profit is beyond what God would approve, then he will likely not bless your efforts. And let me give you a word of wisdom advice that you will always be better with God's blessing than you will be without it. So whatever business you engage in, whatever property you sell, make sure you buy it and sell it within the margin where God will bless your efforts. Because if God doesn't bless your efforts, you're going to be in serious trouble. So then, let your spiritual conscience be your guide. Do it in a way in which God will bless. Always remember, God can give you much more than you can ever take. And when God gives it to you, He can make it go further than what you have taken will go. So though He authorizes and He sanctions us to sell property, to buy and sell and make a profit, remember, we must do it in a way in which God would approve. And if you have some serious doubts about whether or not God approves, you might not want to do that. I'm John Davis Marshall, your lifestyle architect. If my coaching can benefit you professionally, or my counseling can benefit you personally, then extend your experience with me by way of my website, www.johndavismarshall.com. And while you're browsing my website, bless your life by purchasing one of the books that I've written and published, and subscribe to Matters Monthly Magazine. You may subscribe digitally, or you may subscribe to a printed copy. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. When you subscribe, you'll get an automatic reminder whenever a new video is uploaded. That way you don't miss anything. Comment on this video. Share this video. Like this video. Help us to get the word out there to a greater number of people. Indeed, it is true. A better you begins with a grace view of God. That's why we want you to still be gripped in His grace and mesmerized by His mercy.